The Las Vegas Raiders had a great offseason this year, even better than what the NFL media realizes, and they actually have good things to say about the Raiders. I'm telling you, it's a great offseason that could be colossal depending on how certain players turn out. Okay, everyone knows about the great players the Raiders have collected over the years. They know about the players the Raiders just got in free agency in the draft this year that'll help out. What many don't see are some of the other players that are under the radar because they've been injured or have their performances hampered by injury. Of course, the Raiders need everyone to stay healthy, but those players that have been held back by injury lately could put the Raiders in contention for the playoffs if they can stay healthy this year. And here they are. Not many in Raider Nation were high on the Raiders signing right guard Alex Coppa right after he was cut by the Cincinnati Bengals, but he can play. He balled for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady on the way to the Super Bowl back in 2021. That got him the big contract in Cincy the year after, and he was outstanding in his first year there. His season was highlighted by the showdown with Kansas City Chiefs interior defense lineman Chris Jones. He didn't allow Jones to get one pressure on him in that game. He severely injured his ankle that year in the playoffs, and it leaked into his 2023. Then in 2024, he was banged up throughout the whole season. He could never get back on track. He was tied for second in the NFL among guards with 8 sacks given up in 2024. The Bengals paid a little too much money for that kind of performance, and they had guys to keep, so they went ahead and cut Coppa. Jim John Spytek was an executive with the Buccaneers when Coppa was there, so he signed him knowing what he's capable of when healthy. If he can stay healthy, it'll be huge for the Raider offensive line. He'll help protect the passer and help get the running game going. In 2023, the Raiders had the #1 scoring defense over the second half of the season. The main reason behind it was then interim head coach Antonio Pierce putting the edge rusher Malcolm Kuntz in the starting lineup. The move looked so promising. We all thought that defense would take the next step up in 2024, but it didn't. Why? Well, Kuntz ended up tearing an ACL right before the season started, so he didn't play it down in 2024. I see that as the biggest difference. Okay, Max Crosby is obviously the best player on that defense, but the Raiders had him for a long time and the defense was what it was. Kuntz was the difference that made that Raider defense so much better the second half of that 2023 season. We were all excited about what he would possibly do in 2024. It's just too bad that he had to get injured. You could clearly see the effect not having an edge rusher of his caliber on the other side of Crosby was having. The Raider defense went from #1 in the NFL in scoring over the second half of the season in 2023 to number 26 in 2024. I think you know what happens if Kuntz gets healthy and stays healthy. He's not the only one from that defensive line that needs to be healthy in 2025. Christian Wilkins needs to get healthy and stay healthy too. He went out with that foot injury in 2024. He was just starting to get going as he had 2 sacks in his last 3 games. It looked so good on paper seeing his name in there with Crosby and Kuntz on the Raiders' defensive line, but they never played it down together. Kuntz didn't play at all. Wilkins went out after week 5 and Crosby went out after week 14. This is another guy we couldn't wait to see in 2024. He was thought of by many to be the best all-around interior defensive lineman in the NFL. He was great at stuffing the run and rushing the passer. Anytime the Raiders sign a new player, I get excited about. The comments I read in the comment section are horrible. They say the player's going to be garbage or he's always going to be hurt when he becomes a Raider. When Wilkins got hurt, that was the first time I actually started to believe crap like that. He had a setback in his rehab, so I see why people think the way they do now. But if he gets healthy and stays healthy, watch out. The Raiders have a new player that's very talented but injured of late. Corner Eric Stokes is the 2021 first-round pick of the Green Bay Packers that was allowed to walk after his rookie contract was up. That isn't a good look for a first-round pick, but Stokes is a baller when healthy. He has to be healthy more often, though. Stokes is 6'1", 195 pounds with long arms, runs a 4.2 40. He's made for that press bell coverage system Carroll runs on defense. He showed he has the skills to go with it right away as a rookie with a great year, too. It's just unfortunate that the next 3 years were marred by injuries. Of course, that's why Carroll was able to get him for such a reasonable price. Stokes is only 26, so he's still at an age where he can rediscover the magic he had as a rookie. On Carroll's part, it's a low-risk, very high reward if Stokes can stay healthy. This is another guy that it's all about if he can stay healthy or not. All the skills and athletic ability is there. If he does, he will ball, and the Raiders will have a shutdown corner that fits what Carroll does. Well, it's only a couple of more days before the Raiders kick down camp. I'm so excited. They had a great offseason, so it's time for them to get all the ingredients together and just mix it all up. Hopefully they don't have the amount of injuries to important players that they had last year. The Raiders are going to need that and a few other things to go right if they're going to go anywhere in 2025. That and if the guys I mentioned in this video can somehow stay healthy this year, the Raiders are going to win a lot more games than what they've been winning in the last few years. Say your prayers because we Raider fans need that badly. Thank you for watching. See you next time.